never slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow.
The past is gone. Now is the future.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of the Weekly Review. My name is Mike Larkin, and by my side, as always, is my dudes, my homies, my peeps, Daniel Crimmins, and the dead man of RWT, Paul Morales. Gentlemen, how we doing tonight?
Barbecuing.
Okay, fair enough. Daniel?
Turning into an ice cube.
That too, and I will say this, Paul, with everybody as well on the
West
West Side.
Oh.
My love to each and every one of y'all. I know y'all are going through a lot right now with everything with the wildfires, so my prayers to each and every one over there on the West Side.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a fucking lot to deal with and a lot to take in, especially with all the news, and then you having just seen that's all you have on the news all week. And you know, we like wrestling, we like talking about wrestling, but that's my getaway, so let's get away.
We about to get away like Bobby Brown in the 90s, so here we go. There's a reference for everybody. Bobby Brown in there. I gotta get away. So someone who did get away.
Yeah, see, my boy Michael got some soul up in him.
I do, man. Bobby and Whitney, we got something in common. Come on now, bro. Come on now.
Mike, don't forget, we should probably just stand back.
Stand back. That's a fact. Oh, we'll get to him in a minute. But before we get to him, our first topic, because this is relatively new, actually breaking news. Odyssey Jones, who is no longer with the WWE, addresses finally the domestic violence allegations, which is why he is no longer with the WWE. And here's Mr. Odyssey Jones.
My name is Amari Palmer, a.k.a. Odyssey Jones. And first and foremost, I'd like to thank Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, for giving me the strength to get through these difficult times. As always, all glory to God. Secondly, I would like to say Happy New Year, and I wish you all a great and safe 2025. I'm making this video to address the false allegations. These false claims are coming from a party that I used to prior engage with, and I apologize for taking so long for addressing these false claims, but I had to patiently wait to get an injunction set in place to protect my family, my friends, and myself. I'm currently taking legal action against said party, so I can't speak too much more on it, but there will be more information to come. With that being said, I would like to thank the WWE for the amazing opportunity they have given me in my life. I thank you so much for bringing me on. I'd like to thank all the coaches that I've worked with over the years for helping me work on my craft and grow as a person. I'd also like to thank management and creative for putting me in a position for success, as well as thank the fans for the support that you have given me, not only today, but all the way back in day one. With all that being said, the journey continues. I'm ready to get back to doing what I love to do. I'm accepting bookings in 2025, and I thank you all for your support and for your time. I'm wishing you nothing but blessing and love, baby. Big O out.
Your thoughts on Odyssey Jones's explanation?
That's a hell of a lot better than what we got from Velveteen Dream.
Oh my God.
That is 1,000% better than what we got from Velveteen Dream.
Oh.
Damn, I'm sorry, but his was horrible. I'm sorry, but
I apologize, Sean. Triple H, will you take me back, please?
I know, right?
I'll pay you.
I'll pay you.
Oh God, Tony would hire him in a fucking heartbeat. I'll pay you. I love you, Velveteen Dream. I'm pretty
sure if these allegations were exactly what he said, and that they were just that allegations, and nothing was really true, and if he had to go through the channels to get legal representation, get injunctions set in place for him to go forward with this with a case against them, then hey, cool. Fine and dandy. If you're gonna fight this, hey, cool, fine, dandy. But you better hope to God that that it comes out on your end, because if not, then and stuff comes out that it shouldn't come out. Boy, you gonna get leveled.
Oh my goodness. I look at it from a stance like this. I mean, like you mentioned, way better than the Velveteen Dream. You could tell his sincerity there, really, thank God, and really putting everything into perspective of what happened. And I mean, you're filing an injunction against somebody that had claimed that you did domestic violence against them. And it's like, hey, don't be speaking ill will in my name and don't be making these false claims. So boom. So I mean, I wish him nothing but the best. I truly do. I looked at it from a stance. He got a big push, and then it got taken away because of these allegations. I mean, this is not like the Enzo Amore thing. This is not like Velveteen Dream. This is just unfortunate for both parties involved. So I hope everything does get resolved. Daniel, your thoughts on Odyssey Jones's response to the allegation?
With you touch on Enzo. Those allegations may or may not have been true. We don't know for sure. It was and with all these things, the reason I don't know about, I'm not certain if this whole stuff about Odyssey Jones is true or not. The reason I say it's all in the response. Enzo, just the way that he handled it, that song.
Oh God. No, just no.
Which still listening to it. Like,
very, very cringeworthy.
Yeah, it's very.
Then the whole stunt with him trying to get back to WWE, it was SummerSlam a couple years ago, right? Where he randomly showed up in the crowd and they showed him for like a hot minute and then immediately like they didn't show him.
It was like SummerSlam or Survivor Series. He was in the crowd and then they immediately ejected him.
Well, it was like when he showed up at AEW, or ROH show,
Yeah, him and Kaz.
Him and Kaz, and then it was like they came out and then they got beat up and then they got taken away and then it was like, okay, well, and tell me, you weren't the only one thinking that they were going to show up in AEW.
Oh God, absolutely, I thought he would, but by now, no, we haven't seen him since,
except for showing up at Kaz's wedding.
Oh God, please! We don't need Chris Jericho versus Enzo Amore in 2025. We're already.
Now think about it. Who in both WWE and AEW, there were people from that incident in each company there now that I don't think would let that happen. Think about who did he piss off in Ring of Honor? Who punked him out first? The Briscoes.
And the Briscoes, yep.
Yeah.
Mark Briscoe ain't gonna let that shit happen. Tama Tonga even admitted, he says, why didn't you see him in Ring of Honor again? Who do you think did that? Oh, he said, oh yeah, that's right. That was me.
He was fucking.
I did.
Yep.
He says, you don't come into my business and you don't disrespect my business like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. But that's the thing. It's with all these allegations. We said,
or Jimmy Uso. Sorry, my bad.
Good old Jimothy.
Yeah, we say it so many times, but I always look at it like this. Bad PR. It's a bad PR for any company with allegations like this. So, I mean, hey, if Odyssey Jones can make his way back, cool. But if not, I look forward to seeing what he does.
With Odyssey Jones, the reason I'll say this,
yeah,
innocent or not, the reason that they had to take quick action, and I mean they took him off TV
quick.
Like they didn't even wait for it to become public, and they took him off. You got to remember, this was like right when like the second round of Vince McMahon allegations were coming out.
Right.
Yeah.
When the lawsuit from Janelle Grant was getting, filed. So if you're having this and then these allegations come out, it's bad. I mean, people say, well, you can't, that's allegation. From a business standpoint, it's a bad PR move.
Yes, sir.
Great transition.
Yep. Very, very bad PR move.
Great segue.
Yeah, so we're going to get to Vince as we wrap up Odyssey Jones. So Vince McMahon tweeted this on Twitter. Here's a statement. The case is closed. Today ends nearly 3 years of investigation by different governmental agencies. There has been a great deal of speculation about what exactly the government was investigating and what the outcome would be. As today's resolution shows, much of that speculation was misguided and misleading, In the end, there was never anything more to this than minor accounting errors with regard to some personal payments that I made several years ago while I was CEO of WWE. I'm thrilled that I can now put all this behind me. So that was Vince's statement. But then we get the statement from Janelle Grant's attorney here, which I will now read. And
Minor
Sean Ross Sapp actually had it.
yes, shout out to Sean Ross Sapp. So here's Janelle Grant's attorney and
minor accounting errors is what we're calling them now.
Yes. So hold on. Let me read the statement first. Steve Eager Beaver. So Ann Callis, attorney for Janelle Grant, the former WWE employee and sexual assault and human trafficking survivor, released the following statement. During his time leading WWE, Vince McMahon acted as if rules did not apply to him, and now we have confirmation that he repeatedly broke the law to cover up his horrifying behavior, including human trafficking. The SEC's charges prove that the NDA Vince McMahon coerced Ms. Grant into signing violates the law, and therefore her case must be heard in court. While prosecutors for the Southern District of New York continue their criminal investigation, we look forward to bringing forward new evidence in our civil case about the sexual exploitation Ms. Grant endured at WWE by Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis. So, Paul, I'll let you go first on this one. Your thoughts on Vince's statement and the statement from Janelle Grant's attorney.
That still doesn't let you off the damn hook.
Oh,
the fact that you not only committed a crime, several crimes, and the fact that you have to pay somebody back, you have to pay the SEC back. Granted, it's only about $1.5 million, but hey, chump change, I guess, to the SEC. But you still have more shit down the pipeline, and there are other people that are going to start coming after you. So you want to take the win? Cool, fine, dandy, but it ain't over.
Daniel, go ahead, and then I'll retort.
If anything, he's acting like this is, the vindication. Oh, he did nothing. Honestly, I say it's just the opposite. It proves that he is a slimeball piece of shit that tried to cover up his misgivings. And what I don't get is why? Like, you are a billionaire. Guarantee you he had all that money in his personal account. Who was he trying to hide it from? Linda?
I think it's one of those cases where he's just an arrogant prick, and he thinks he could get with anything because he thinks he's
and the law doesn't apply to him.
And the law doesn't apply. Exactly. Like we see with every rich motherfucker act out there. I mean, did y'all see what happened on Thursday? I won't go there, but y'all saw what happened on Thursday with a certain someone with the initials of DT who we'll get into.
You mean a certain WWE Hall of Famer?
Oh, we'll get to that when we get to Raw, my goodness. But I look at it from a stance like this. It's the classic case of rich man thinks he's above the law and he can get away with anything. And when you look at Vince McMahon from years upon years upon years, especially in this particular situation, like Paul said, the end is not near. It's for this, you can pay the 1.7, but you're still being sued. There's still more to come, and it's going to get worse for Vince McMahon. And then you see the idiots that are like, oh, that means he's probably going to come back to the company. No! TKO ain't fucking touching him just because of the SEC. TKO, he ain't ever coming back. He could do a studio, whatever he wants to do, and try to do promotion.
If I can add on to your point, if I may.
Sure.
Think of a hurricane.
Okay.
When you get inside the eye of the storm, it's calm.
Yes.
It's quiet.
Mm-hmm.
But then hurricane starts to shift. Like the greatest movie of all time, The Day After Tomorrow.
I hate your guts. I really hate your fucking guts, Daniel Curtis.
You love me and you know it.
It's a horrible movie. Y'all, if y'all are new, don't go see that movie. It's fucking
go see it. Go see it right now.
Go see it right now. I recommend it. Go see it right now.
All right.
2/3 of the wrestling roundup say it's good. Yeah. Our 2 cancels out your 1.
Yeah.
Yeet.
You're eating me out of the weekly review. I see how it is. No, but I mean, I look at it like this. It's better than 2012. Like we mentioned before the show. It's better than 2012. Very true. It's better than 2012.
So,
but no.
To the point that Vince is just in the eye of the storm right now.
Oh, absolutely is.
Things are calm now, but I guarantee you There's other allegations. Was it the referee? What was it?
The Ring Boy scandal. The Ring Boy scandal.
Rita Chatterton. There's a Ring Boy scandal coming.
Mhm.
Like, I think the Ring Boy scandal, I almost think that's due to hit the discovery phase within the next month or two.
I'm sure it is, absolutely.
Not to mention Ashley Massaro.
That too, yep.
And everything that happened with her. Now, mind you, there were a lot of girls in WWE about that time that have actually spoken out about it too, and haven't necessarily gotten through with the litigation part of it. And I'm pretty sure that's coming also. So if her family decides to go that route,
they will. I guarantee you.
Sorry, Vince.
Did you see the interview with JBL where they asked him about it? And you could tell he knows something, but he was very careful about what he was saying.
Oh yeah, he's like always. Vince was always.
He's like, would I be shocked if something happened? No. Do I know that something happened? No.
Well, he always said. I even think he said it recently on Something to Wrestle With that he did with Conrad. Like, he pretty much said Vince has always been nuts, which he knows, but he's going to be very careful with how he words this.
Jericho has even mentioned it. People that were around that time are like that. Even Mick Foley has said, I've got no reason not. We have no reason not to believe her.
Kurt Angle even came out and said that Vince is nuts and even went that route. Yeah, everybody's been coming out the woodwork.
Rob Van Dam has actually come out and said the same thing. So it's like you have so many people who have such a disdain for forget what. Now I'm trying to separate what he did as far as like the industry.
Right.
I'm trying to separate that from what he did from this. All the shady shit that he did, all the crappy sexual shit that he did, that's completely different than the wrestling stuff. Yes, he did a lot for wrestling. Yes, he did all that. Cool, fine, dandy. But that doesn't take away from him being a piece of shit.
No,
and Mike, I have brought this up. I'll bring it up again. This is the guy that when Stephanie and Paul Levesque, Triple H, went to Vince and told him the exciting news that she was expecting her first child. One of the great, and Paul, you've been there. When you find out you're having your first kid, it's one of the greatest, most exciting moments of your life. And what does Vince do? What does Vince, what does he immediately think? Let's do a storyline where I'm the father.
Yep, that 2005. And then what if it's
and then when the whole family, and it wasn't just Stephanie and Triple H, although they basically said absolutely not. And I don't know if it's true, but I heard a rumor that Triple H said, if you force this, I'm gone.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And then Vince comes back, says, and I think Linda threatened to divorce him if he did it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, well, what about Shane?
No.
Because that's so much better.
Oh, of course. But no, it's just it's one of those things where we're going to see what happens more with the mind and the overall trials and tribulations of Vince McMahon and just everything that's going to come out. It's only going to keep continuing.
I'm waiting for the dark side of the ring. I'm waiting for it.
Hey, it's a dark side of the ring in itself, my friend. But as we move on to the next topic, y'all, we're going to talk about Netflix because wow, oh wow. And I will say this. Before we get to Hulk Hogan, I want to play this because I just want to brother, but I want to see Paul go off because he sent me a message about Brian Alvarez.
So why did you have to do this first?
Because we got to do it. He was so mad. He's like Meltzer's friggin' verbal organ. Oh, God, he was so mad because of that goddamn Brian Alvarez. So Brian Alvarez on the latest edition of the Figure 4 Radio with, I believe it was either with Meltzer or one of the other people on the site. He pretty much, here's the short of it, where WWE failed with its Netflix debut. And here's what Brian Alvarez, good old BA, had to say.
It's like, how is that going to get new people who tuned in excited to watch the show next week? when you've advertised a bunch of matches of people that weren't even on the show. Like, you should have had things on the show to shoot angles so people tune in for the next week's show. It's like,
oh man, Brian.
How is that different from any other fucking week, any other company?
Oh, Brian. Oh, Paul, take it away first, and then we'll go.
Have you ever watched an episode of whatever show? It don't matter. You've watched an episode of a show, and it leaves you on a cliffhanger.
Right.
And it makes you want to watch. Oh, shoot, what's going to happen next week? That's exactly what they did. It left you with suspense. It left you with that anticipation of like, oh my God, there's more to this. There are more characters in this story. There are more characters in this company that we have to go out there and show them. It was literally 4 matches that night. 4. I know, I was there. 4 matches that were on that card. And I kept thinking, I'm going, oh my God, there's going to be more. The only parts my biggest critique was there were too many backstage segments or too many interviews with Jackie Redmond. That was my only gripe. Other than that, we got 4 fantastic fucking pay-per-view matches. And what happened is that Brian decided to open his fucking mouth and is like, how are you supposed to anticipate? How are you supposed to get excited for next week? Well, the Wyatt the Wyatt 6 weren't on there, but yet they were mentioned. Penta, who was brought up in the graphic, in the vignette, he's gonna be on there. And then we got teased as to who freaking Chad Gable's gonna wrestle, obviously.
Penta.
And the fact is like it's a continuance. It's a continuing thing. If this were just one show, a one-off show, and just be like, hey, look, watch this, it would have been filled with fucking matches with like a bunch of characters. This is not a fucking movie. It's episodic. There's episodes to each and every one of these. It'll always leave you in suspense for the next one. He should already fucking know this.
You know, I'm going to add to what you're saying, Paul. If this was a certain other company, he wouldn't be saying the shit.
We'll get to that company later.
And I got more to say on this one.
Okay.
You have the initial rumor that it was supposed to be Ray and a partner versus who were the opponents initially supposed?
Well, they announced on Raw next week it's going to be Ray and Dragon Lee against the New Day.
Well, initially they were saying Ray and a mystery partner versus New Day, and then it was it was going to be Pent. Which guarantee if that had been the match, Alvarez would have bitched and he said, "Oh, right." But yet, honestly, the prospect of Chad Gable, who is arguably one of the absolute greatest in any company, I don't care, fight me, I will tell you you're wrong until I'm blue in the face. And the prospect of Penta, who's arguably one of the greatest luchadors alive today, going up against one of the greatest technical guys, I would say, of all time. I will go that far with Chad Gable. I want that. I don't want a bullshit tag match. I want a singles match where you can see what Penta can do.
I hold on before you go. We had 4 matches. Who were all in those matches?
So if you look at next week's, which on Netflix or next week?
No, Netflix. Who were all in the Netflix show?
Everybody who was feuding. Drew.
Okay, who opened the show?
Roman and Solo.
The next match.
Rhea and Liv.
Next match.
Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre.
The final match.
Excuse me. That was fuck. Now this is
CM
bad.
Punk versus Seth Rollins.
I drew a blank. Thank
You had your stars on this show. You opened it with stars. Roman Reigns made Solo a star on that first match. I don't care how you want to spin it. He made him a star. Even in losing fashion, he made him a star. We already know Liv and
Rhea
and Rhea are fucking stars. We already know that they're the top of the food chain in fucking WWE. Jey Uso is the up and comer that has been there for so many years, and he fought a veteran in Drew McIntyre, which was an excellent match. And we closed with the main event of what can only be described as I believe it was Dave LaGreca that actually said this. It was him who said this was bigger than WrestleMania. Why? Because it was on a wider platform. It was literally everybody around the world at the same time on Netflix, on a streaming service, watching this show. And it was so huge. And the main event was CM Punk versus Seth freaking Rollins. And they kicked ass.
In its own right.
And a WrestleMania match in itself. And they killed it. Killed it.
And
you can people were griping about, oh well, it was too slow. The tempo wasn't good enough. I said, you want to know what it did? It told a fucking story. And it didn't have to end right away. It didn't have to end after 5 minutes. The time that it was allowed to go, those two went out there and kicked each other's ass and left everything in that ring and left exhausted. I know. I watched them walk out of the damn ring and they looked exhausted.
And can I just point out that I just think it's absolutely hilarious. Anyone care to mention what CM Punk's ring entrance gear was?
Yeah.
Yep. When he choked out Jack,
baby, 3 of them, and that jacket just happened to look so familiar.
It was the Jack Perry when he choked him out on that night.
Yes, it was.
I mean, I don't care for the petty bullshit. Did I think it was kind of funny? I was like,
oh, that was petty, and I'm here for petty bullshit.
Yeah.
But at the end,
I am here for all the petty bullshit.
It worked. Like, was it ideal? No, it wasn't ideal, but it worked. And I don't think people quite realize yet how big and ginormous this Netflix deal is going to be.
We'll get to the viewership, but I have to actually add to your point here. So if you're a casual fan, this brought you in. If you're new to the product and Netflix, you got Gunther video package, you got Logan Paul, you got everything. If you're diehard and you hated it because it was 4 matches in 3 freaking hours, every match made sense. Roman and Solo, like these gentlemen said, had the purpose of Rock giving him the Ula Fala. People did complain because, all of a sudden the Rock is a babyface and he's being nice to Cody.
But is he though?
Yeah, but then the next night on NXT, he's like, I'm 20 steps ahead of you guys, and, The Rock is this, and he pretty much buried everybody on NXT, and he cursed on the CW like 10 times, which was hilarious. But people griped about that, but I'm like, number one, let's see what it's going, but number two, again, everything on this match, on this card told the story. Punk and Rollins was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. It was a nice throwback to him and Moxley from AEW. They did that same finish with the GTS and all that stuff, which I thought was funny. But everything gelled so well. The continuation of the Seth Rollins heel turn. Jay, letting, pretty much suckering Drew in for the pinfall 1, 2, 3. Jay is coming to his own. Drew is fantastic at his role. And Rhea finally getting the title back from Liv made absolute perfect sense. Becky
and the Dirty Dom spot. Don't forget
Dirty Dom taking the Riptide, which was apropos.
Now, Mike, I think another thing that I saw this on a TikTok, and it kind of got me wondering because I hadn't thought about this.
Yeah,
the finish when Rhea hit her finish on Liv, Dom didn't get involved.
No, he did not.
He did not pull the ref out.
Nope.
So if I'm thinking, I would not be shocked if this begins the dissension story, where, they break up and personally, I think it'd be a mistake. Because if you think about the Rhea Ripley revenge story, the Liv Morgan revenge story, that's done.
Yeah, but also to your point, it's like with Dom, like you can also have the interaction with Liv. It's like, hey, you're going right back to her after I lost. So, I mean, it breaks something into that. They tease something there. But I got to mention this because, Daniel, you bring up a great point, and there's so many great points of this show. And I will talk about the celebrity involvement here in a second, but I could see Paul being already giddy because Rhea Ripley's celebrating. Then all of a sudden the gong hits, and who comes out on the motorcycle? It's The Undertaker. And he just came out and he rode around the ring, and then he did the infamous pose. The arm was up with Rhea Ripley. They looked back at the camera, as Michael Cole so aproposly put it, one badass acknowledging another badass. So the whole thing was perfect. The whole thing was perfect.
And you know,
it was awesome. I loved it.
I got it because to me this was one of the greatest moments, and it was even a match.
Okay.
When Jay was entering, we get Pat McAfee yeeting on the desk, and we even got Michael freaking Cole doing it.
Well, also Travis Scott.
You should have seen that shit, dude. Everybody was like rocking, and I happened to see them get up on the table, and I was like, "Is he?" I go, "Babe," and I'm talking to my wife. I'm like, "Babe, is Michael Cole on the table?" She's like, "Yeah, he's over there." Offbeat, mind you, offbeat. But hey, you know what? It's Michael Cole. I can give him a pass. But man, that man was yeeting like no crazy.
This is the Michael Cole that we should have had years ago.
Yeah, but he don't have Vince in his ear anymore. He's free to do what he wants.
And honestly, he has done the best work of his career. Mind you, he's
now
been
that Vince isn't there.
He's been in WWE almost 20 years now at this point.
Like 98, 99.
Longer than that.
And to the point where, you talk about greatest commentators of all time. I think he could give Jim Ross a run for his money.
Oh, well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay, I can give him the Jim Ross rub. I mean, as far as like being the best there is, but it would have to be post Vince, because everything that he did with Vince, and I'm not taking anything away from a lot of the calls that he made. One of my favorites was Eddie Guerrero and fucking Brock Lesnar, No Way Out, 2004. So that was one of my favorite ones, and that I'll never forget. So
I don't know how many people remember this, but I think it's worth. So, in preparation for WrestleMania 40 last year, I literally, Paul, watched every WrestleMania from 1 to 39.
Because he's nuts.
And there was a moment, it was WrestleMania 15.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember back in the day, WWE would always have, partnerships with like QVC or the Home Shopping Network.
Oh, yeah.
You had, and I don't know if it's on the network feed or the Peacock feed now. I don't know what you're calling it. But Michael Cole said, quote, "And join us later where we will have an interview with the new WWF champion, Stone Cold Steve Austin." The match hadn't happened yet.
He gave away the spoiler early.
Spoiler alert!
And it was like mid-match, and I'm thinking like, Vince must have
blew a gasket.
But you know what? He's still there, and it was fun. Like the commentary, and I will say this, and not just for WWE, for Raw, but SmackDown too. Both commentary teams are fantastic.
Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett are really good together.
Joe Tessitore. Now that's a fucking pairing that you didn't think were gonna work.
No,
man, Wade is making Joe look fucking awesome on that commentary.
Joe had a rough beginning. His first couple shows were rough, but he is good, and you can tell he is having fun.
Now, we mentioned commentators. I got to put into this. Folks, this is not a downgrade. Corey Graves is now on NXT with Vic Joseph and Booker T to be like the buffer to shut Booker up. Okay, what do you guys think of Corey on NXT again?
I thought it was great. Yeah, I thought it was great. And he works for some apparent reason. Corey Graves just works with anybody. I mean, except for Jonathan Coachman. But he works great with anybody.
If you ask Jonathan Coachman, because he did that interview with Chris Van Vliet, for some reason, Corey just didn't like me. He just didn't like me.
He's jealous of me.
He's jealous of me.
He's
Like,
jealous. of me.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, okay, coach.
Okay.
Okay, coach.
Okay.
Okay.
Not happening.
And I like Coach, but he's been saying a lot of stupid shit since he went with the bro and Coach.
You know what it is, Mike? You know what it is? He's just trying to get clickbait views for his bullshit podcast.
Yeah. Well,
Which, folks, I will tell you, that is something you will never see on this fine program.
oh no, we don't do
No, never. We won't do shameless plugs.
I will
Yeah,
say
you know, we won't shout out any people, you know,
Our
like the
plugs-
Salcedo.
Our plugs make sense. Our
Yeah.
plugs are not bullshit.
like shout out to
Oh, well, that makes even more sense. Even more, yeah, it's perfectly said. Well
It's
said.
got to make sense. It's got to make sense.
well, speaking of making
Yeah, and
sense,
me
Tell me
shouting
when
out
I'm
Denise,
telling-
and me shouting out Denise, it just makes perfect sense.
yes,
And tell me when I'm telling lies.
Tell
So
me
we'll-
when I'm telling lies.
yes. So we'll get to Denise in a second here because we're going to play.
Shout
that.
out to you, Phil Brooks.
We love you, Denise and Phil Brooks. Well, yeah, shout out to Phil Brooks. I'm going to say CM Punk, well, what he did at the end of after Raw in the post game when he's doing the promo about 46 is just a number. And that man gave a shout out to Chris Bay. That was really, really cool.
That was just fucking awesome. Being in the dude, it was fucking awesome.
And we'll get to another crowd moment with a certain brother in the 2 seconds here and the celebrities. But here's the press release from WWE. WWE Raw wrestles up 4.9 million global views for Netflix debut. The inaugural event on Netflix averaged 2.6 million households in the U.S., according to Video Amp, which is 116% higher than Raw's average 2024 U.S. audience of 1.2 million households and higher than any other Monday Night Raw broadcast in the past 5 years. The event also more than doubled the 18 to 49 audience versus last year. This has become one of the biggest things ever. If you really look at it right here as we go to the next slide, as I skip over that slide, my bad. On X, as soon as the event started, WWE Raw was the number one trending topic in the U.S., Brazil, Australia, and the U.K. WWE Raw trended number one for 14 hours straight in the U.K. and occupied 6 of the top 7 trending topics in the U.S. Hashtag Raw on Netflix and WWE on Netflix also trended in Brazil, Canada, Mexico, Spain, and the U.S. The debut of Raw on Netflix, which took place at a sold-out Intuit Dome in Los Angeles, which Paul Morales was at, set a company record as the highest-grossing WWE arena event of all time. Additionally, the event set a merchandise sales record, becoming the highest-grossing non-premium live event of all time. And it just goes into the event. Yeet. People don't realize how big that was, and especially with NXT. 957,000 viewers from their CW episode with New Year's Evil. My
And to the point where, and honestly, I just think this shit's funny. And I'll be curious. Well, when we talk about this next week, we're going to talk about it, folks.
Yeah.
The CW is rerunning this week's NXT.
Right
now.
And
Right
it's
now.
going head to head with Collision.
Right
It's
now.
on right now. Yeah. Okay.
It's on right now.
It's on right now.
So
I'm
I'll be
not
curious
listening.
to see if
I'm
they're
not going like this, by the way.
All right.
You know what? I gotta say it because it looks like maybe we're getting Ethan Page up to the main roster.
Oh, the segment with The Rock was great. Get your ass on, Ethan. Get your ass on, Ethan.
And honestly, personally, I would like to see him on SmackDown more.
Oh, agreed, man. I mean, there's
I
so many.
think SmackDown would work for him. You know, I think if you're bringing up, why is it Trick Williams, Raw?
Dude, can we give a shout out to the new NXT champion, Oba fucking Femi? Oh, the dude is. See, we're gonna clap it up. Come on, Dan. Clap it up, Dan. Give us a little clap. Come on, bro. This dude.
Oba fucking Femi. And I didn't even think it was going to happen. I swear to you, I thought they were going to swerve us. I swear I thought Eddie Thorpe was going to take this.
Yep.
Just because as soon as he got injured, I'm like, oh my God. I go, what are we going to get?
Yep.
I go, he's going to slip in. I go, he's going to like push Oba off. And then he's going to be like, or hit him with a chair or something was going to happen. And Eddie Thorpe was going to pick up the win. I'm like, oh my God, that would have been the biggest swerve. But nope.
Oba, right man won.
Absolutely.
Trick got pinned after Eddie threw the chair at him, and then the power bomb by Oba, 1, 2, 3. Julia beating Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's Championship. Right call there.
Absolutely, love me some Julia. Like
Same here.
And I'll say it, like Obafemi, I think he's only like 25, like 25.
He's like 24, 25, yeah.
And like he looks like he's been doing this for like a decade or more.
And he's only had like X amount of matches.
And like, to me, you talk about people that can carry a company. Like you and I have talked about, like with AEW, you got guys like Swerve Strickland, guys like Buddy Matthews that, have that it factor. Obafemi, I could see he's going to be main eventing WWE within a couple years. He's going to be main eventing, PLEs, Mania in a couple years. It's like the dude just has it. Like he's
Night
a great
free of a
heel.
buy one get one free.
We got Omos, like
Omos in Japan, which we'll play that interview because
Tell me that's not fucking crazy.
it was funny as hell. He's 7 foot tall and he's going through everybody, like through the airport, through the freaking like crowd. It was hilarious. So
and, over there they don't the average height over there. They're not used to seeing people of that height.
No, not at all. And it's just so funny to me because I look at someone like an Obafemi, I look at someone like an Omos, and people have been saying, I've been seeing it all week with Omos. It's like, can you believe that a guy like Omos is getting over in Pro Wrestling Noah? Yes. And do you want to know why? Because he's working with the right people. He's developing his skills. And this is what we needed from him. He got a WrestleMania moment with Brock Lesnar, and he got to win the tag titles with AJ Styles. But again, you have more seasoning, baby, with Omos. Now I gotta play.
And it's weird because like Bully Ray before when they mentioned about him going over there and showing that presser that he was going to go over and he was going to wrestle there. He said this was the perfect fit for him right now because he can go in there, he can go wrestle with people, he can go get some more experience, and when they feel he's ready, he can come back and work with anybody. So right now, him being over there, he's working with the right people, as you said, and it's just going to help him so much in the long run. And it gives him something to do. It gives him something to do. Look at Shinsuke when he wasn't doing anything. What did he do? He ended up over in Noah.
And you have almost like honestly, those interviews and seeing him, it's like he's got charisma. Like turn him a face when he's back.
And
like this one. Like this one you're going to play.
And he's one half of the tag champs now over there in Noah. And I mean, there was the clip he just did the last ride powerbomb as his finisher. Like the dude has got it. He's listening, he's adapting, and he's growing. And here's the charisma we're talking about.
I wouldn't say so.
He's famous. Definitely famous. I was just going to say he's famous.
Oh, he's definitely famous. You are really tall, man. And you in the NBA?
No, I wrestle for the WWE.
You wrestle?
Yes.
Are you okay with being in the video?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's talk, man.
All right.
Oh, you got the DJI Pocket 3?
Yeah, I'm trying to have some content myself.
So you wrestle?
Yes.
Like
WWE.
WWE?
Yes, correct.
What's your name?
Omos.
Full name?
The Nigerian Giant Omos.
What's your favorite thing about Japan so far?
The people. Everybody's been super nice.
Super nice?
Yes.
What about the food?
It took me a little bit because this is my first time ever in Japan. I think I'm beginning to figure it out now.
Yeah.
I do love the yakiniku.
The yakiniku is busting.
That it is. That it is.
Do you have any culture shock here?
To be honest, there's a lot of rules.
A lot of rules. Like,
yes, I'm an avid gym goer.
Yeah.
So the indoor-outdoor gyms, I understand for the house because I'm African. But for the gym, that was like a new phenomenon for me. So that was the biggest culture shock.
Okay. And what's your favorite thing you've done here in Japan so far?
Oh, wrestle. I wrestled at the Nippon Budokan.
Nippon Budokan.
Yes, I wrestled Nippon Budokan.
Oh.
And I'm going to be wrestling again, me and my tag team partner, on January 11th at the Kurukan Hall.
The Nigerian Giant.
Yes, correct.
That's what's up. I just see your hands compared to my... Bro, your shoe size?
18.
18 inches? You make me look like I'm a little person.
Hey, man. I make everybody feel like they're a little person.
That dude, like, come on now. Like, after watching that, like, the dude has got
How
charisma.
can you not like him?
How can you not? The man is
Like,
just...
This is a dude that got his start as being as a ninja for Tozawa.
And he was the security guard for Raw Underground.
Yeah, he was the security guard.
Yeah.
Like,
Damn Shane McMahon.
That damn shit.
Like, and it was funny. Like, you think interviews. There was an interview with MVP talking about how talented Omos is, and I remember this interview. MVP said Omos doesn't even realize how good Omos is.
And
AJ has said Omos listens. Like, when you talk to him, he listens.
that's better than the Giant Gonzalez, who never listened.
First of all, God rest his soul. But number two, he was terrible. He was
Or Mabel, who, again, God rest his soul, sat on the Undertaker, like broke his face,
broke his orbital bone.
And
Taker is even said like he refused to work with him,
and he also hurt Kevin Nash. Yeah,
and forget Kevin Nash. And when he did what the hell was the Godwin that he splashed in the middle of the damn ring, and he was like, oh, what the hell are you doing? And he rolled out of the ring. And he was like, and even Undertaker was like looking at him like, what the hell are you doing? Like, that's not that type of match.
Yeah, it was Henry Godwin in the Rumble. Yeah.
Henry Godwin. Yeah, in the Rumble. Oh my God. And he did a splash on him and he goes, that's not this type of match. You don't do it in here.
Oh my goodness. I will say this. We did mention NXT. I also will say this because we mentioned Julia.
Yeah, NXT.
Yeah. Stephanie Becker is the number one contender for Fallon Henley in the Women's North American title. I'm here for that. We got Axiom against OTM for the tag titles next week. Like, for those who didn't see NXT, like, again, great night on the CW. We mentioned Raw and the viewership. Great night for wrestling. It wasn't a
time slot. Could have been yours, Tony.
It could have been.
Yeah, fatal influence. I got Fatal Influence and the Goth Chicks all together right now.
They didn't pay me.
They didn't pay me. First of all, the Goth Chicks, the Freaks, Tatum, Paxley, GD, Joel, and Shotzi.
Hey, I ain't talking about no hot chicks. That's all I gotta say. I love me some hot goth chicks. So
yeah,
I'm here for it.
I'm here for it too. Someone who was not here for it was especially the LA crowd, especially this one over here, as he sent me some fan footage video, which we will be putting in this show, which I got to thank you, Mr. Paul Morales.
You're welcome.
We saw so many celebrities. We saw Seth Green. The pop for Macaulay Culkin. Oh my God.
You love that. It's funny. They showed him on the screen and we popped loud. And I even nudged my wife. I was like, that's Macaulay Culkin. I go, Home Alone. Ah!
We got O'Shea Jackson Jr. being public enemy #1 with that Lakers belt.
Yes, baby. But he was representing the Lakers up in the Clippers house.
And first of all, Topanga, Danielle Fishel.
You forgot. Put some goddamn respect on his name, Maggle.
Yes.
Kieran Culkin.
Kieran Culkin, yes. Okay. Thank you very much.
Who just won a Golden Globe the night before.
Did you see CM Punk go up to him? That was great. Oh, God.
That was great.
I don't want to hear anything bad about CM Punk.
Hey, man, we almost got some smoke blown by Mr. Yeet. He was talking about Travis Scott, and he came out. The fact that he came out with a blunt. The fact that he came out with a blunt, and we were just like I said, my wife and I were just like, this fool's smoking. This fool's smoking some dank. This fool's smoking that. Oh, we.
Can we just say?
How far was that from you? Was that your section?
It was actually across the way from us. They were where they entered at. It was across the way from us, but we were up upper level.
I remember watching that, thinking like, I saw the blunt. I was like, okay, he's got a blunt. Okay, no big deal. And then I see the lighter. I'm like, okay, he's got a lighter and a blunt. No big deal. But then he lit up and he started talking like,
oh,
it's that meme of the dog that just says, this is fine.
It's fine.
This is fine. This is fine. And then the interview that Jay did after the show, hilarious.
Can I say Triple H going? I like to thank Jay Uso for just saying no, which was just so good.
In the presser.
Oh man! Now, besides the blunt, we did mention Topanga. Danielle Fishel got some love this year, right?
Say it, Topangahausen.
Topangahausen. First of all, poor Wilfred Dell.
The fact that Wilfred Dell, they didn't even mention him. They just said
Wilfred Dell.
You didn't even get a shout out or nothing. But we got a whole Danielle Fishel. We got that one.
It was nice to see Nikki Bella, which they said that everything's been forgiven. Everything has become amends between her and the WWE.
She talked to Triple H. She had talked to Triple H. She talked to Nick Khan.
I guess concern coming
and
back.
Stephanie McMahon too. She talked to everybody and got apologies, and everything was settled. Everything was squashed, and the fact that she's there is awesome. There were a lot of other celebrities that weren't shown. Mario Lopez, Big Boy. There were multiple people who were there who weren't shown on the TV because there were just damn near too many celebrities that were there. Shout out to Vanessa Hudgens for being Miss.
Can I just say something? The hot girls love wrestling shirt. Vanessa Hudgens has become my new favorite professional wrestling fan. Like, for real. Like, she's great. Like, I'm loving me some.
Ooh, I'm telling Topangahausen.
Now,
okay. In the defense, if Danielle Fishel was wearing something like that, if Vanessa Hudgens and Danielle Fishel actually got together and said, "Look, we're going to start wearing shirts like this," I am here for it.
Now, I think it bears mentioning. I don't know if you saw the report, but it said that I guess discussions were had with Nikki Bella, about doing something.
Women's Royal Rumble.
I could see that. I know her neck is,
yeah.
I think it's safe to say Bree's probably not coming back.
Probably not. Well, we'll see.
Probably not. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that they laid everything out, and they both got an apology. Forget it just being one. I'm pretty sure that they both got an apology. Remember, there's no hard feelings between Bryan Danielson and Triple H because obviously it's completely different. But they got their apologies. They got everything settled and squashed. But yes, I don't see Brie coming back because, well, of course, her husband's in another company,
and she's being a mom.
Yeah,
and she's a wonderful mother to her kids, to all their kids, and that's cool.
I remember an interview, maybe maybe a year or so ago, and the interviewer kept trying to get Bryan Danielson to talk shit on WWE, and he said, I've got nothing against them. He said, I happen to work for another company. And he said Triple H was always fair. It was always good to me. He said, biggest moment of my career, WrestleMania 30, could not have happened without him.
Now, isn't it funny, too, like we mentioned Bryan Danielson not talking trash about WWE, but someone who did for many years. We mentioned Nikki Bella. Isn't it funny now, great to see Scott Steiner has made amends with WWE and Triple H because of Braun Breaker, and they gave his kid an NIL contract, which is awesome. Like, that's so
exactly.
great.
Wait, Scott's kid?
Yes, Scott's kid.
Yeah,
that kid's going to WWE, guarantee.
Oh, of course he is. Of course he is.
You know what? People gave Braun Breaker so much shit for that name, like when he signed.
Oh yeah,
it was like Damian Priest. Like people thought, well, you're Punishment Martinez.
No.
Yeah, but if you look at the name changes, we can go to Cope. Who people want to shorten their names.
I can't cope with that.
I can't cope with that at some point in time. But look, hey, it's cool though because you know what? If people shorten their names all the time, and it's cool, it's fine, it's dandy, but it has to work, for them to make it, they have to make it work. So I just think certain name changes are just done, just to help the wrestlers. You have this one image of themselves. Punishment Martinez, great wrestler, but Damian Priest is completely different from Punishment Martinez. If we go back and we look, They're completely different characters.
Oh,
So
yeah, from when
Braun Breaker coming in, he didn't want to use his dad's last name.
They
He
offered
didn't
it to
want
him.
to use, and they offered it to him, and he said, "No, I want to try something different. I want to carve my own path." And kudos to him for wanting to carve his own path. Kudos to Braun for wanting to go out there and be like, "I'm going to do this myself." Yes, do I have a lot of the characteristics? Of course I do. But they trained me. They helped me. So the fact that I know all this, it's because of them. But I'm also trying to carve my own path. Let me do my own thing and let me just have my own name.
someone whose name should not be said or should not have their own name. Cope, we'll get to the AEW, but someone's name who we should never see ever again.
Forever.
So the music hits.
Hey, Ethan Page.
So the music hits, not Ethan Page's music. When it comes
smell what the Rock is cooking. I'm sorry, my bad. Go ahead.
When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside, you got to take a stand. It don't help to hide. So Hulk Hogan comes out with Jimmy Hart, who's waving the American flag.
Poor Jimmy.
And Hulk Hogan got booed out of the.
Before you go there, poor Jimmy fucking Hart, man.
You could tell
the South, there was nothing wrong with that man. You know what? Put some respect on that man's name.
We're gonna.
You can tell by the look on Jimmy Hart's face. He knew, like he's just like,
yeah.
He stood back. He stood back and he was just like, "I'm just gonna wave this flag back."
He's
here.
like, "Can we go now?"
So I gotta play the clip.
Can we go now? Can we go now, baby?
I gotta play the Alan Owens clip because this was hilarious.
WWE fans owe this man a massive apology. What they did last night was unbelievable. You guys realize that this man is an absolute legend to professional wrestling? Like, wrestling is not where it's at right now without this guy. Legends like Ric Flair, legends like the Honky Tonk Man, Jerry the King Lawler, most of Southern wrestling would not be where it was. Like you're talking about some of the greatest matches of all time happened because of this guy. It got as hype as it did because of this guy. Wrestling, there is literally people in wrestling today who want to emulate what this guy did, want to emulate the work that this guy did and put people over the way that this guy did. And there's maybe a few people that have ever been on this guy's level. And last night when he came out, you guys booed him. Like, are you guys serious? You guys booed this man? What did he do to deserve this? Every single one of you guys owe Jimmy Hart an absolutely massive apology. He was getting booed the entire time for what? He did nothing. And then there's this guy shilling beer to kids.
Okay, you know what, man? That was great.
I had to watch it all the way through, and I'm like, is this for real? Did this come across my feed for real?
So, yes, Hulk Hogan, and you can feel bad for Jimmy Hart because he, like Daniel said, he was standing there all like, can we go now? And he's talking about, the greatest tag team partner ever is WWE and Netflix. And what even makes it worse is because a lot of people rolled their eyes backstage. This man literally had a MAGA Powers t-shirt on as they filmed him coming to the arena. Oh, he's got the Stone Cold IPA, son. What?
No, this is the American Lager.
Oh, the American Lager. I'm sorry. Yes.
That's the real American beer.
Oh, you could go fuck yourself, Hogan, with your real American beer. Okay. So,
which last I knew was only available at Walmart.
Yeah. Fuck you, Hogan. So the thing is, he gets booed out of the building, and you legit think that, oh God, the people went on the whole thing. Oh, these snowflakes in California. Oh God, these woke people. No, the man.
Oh, these liberals. Oh, that's why it's a blue state. That's the reason why they booed him. Oh, they. Oh my God, it was like a cry fest. Like, come on now.
We need to remind people because it's been a bit. So for those of you that don't know, Hogan was taped, mind you, the only thing I will excuse, it was without his consent.
Right.
But he, at the time, I guess his daughter Brooke was dating a black man.
He was a rapper.
He was a football player.
Was it? I had no, like, I just remember reading this. And basically, Hogan said, I don't like the idea of her dating one of them. But if she's going to, he better be rich.
Okay. So I got to add to that point because this is the same man interview said, it's a term that we used when we were growing up, brother, in the 50s. I'm like, yes, Hogan. Great. And that you're not helping yourself. God. Oh, these people.
The fact that he used the N word with the hard R,
yeah,
at the end,
You're...
and not with an A, but still the fact that he said it and that he, it's just the fact that he said it and that he decided that he wanted to go when they brought him back, and I believe it was 2017. Or am I mistaken? They brought him back in 2017, and then he was backstage and he started talking to people. And Titus O'Neil was one of the people who said that he went in there and he didn't apologize.
Yeah,
he just went back there and said, just don't get caught on camera. Make sure you know that there's no cameras around you. For real?
If I can say it, if I can quote the late, great Khosrow Vaziri, a.k.a. the Iron Sheik, fuck the Hulk Hogan.
Now, I will say this, to quote the great Mark Henry, because Mark Henry has two things we're going to read here. So, Mark Henry, recently in an interview with TMZ Sports, he claims Hulk Hogan never wanted to fix things after racist remarks. It's not going to go away. With the social climate and the things Hulk said and done and his lack of effort to try and fix it, people are going to come down on it. He never wanted to go forward and fix it. That's what happens when you think everything is going to go away. It's not going to go away. And then Eric Bischoff would go on to comment about this because he is boys with Hulk Hogan. And this is Mark Henry's other thing with the social climate and things he said, and much like we just stated there. So here we go with Eric Bischoff's point of view. Eric Bischoff, on a recent episode of 83 Weeks, stated that the negative crowd response to Hulk Hogan was due to Hogan's association with Donald Trump. If you're someone who hasn't spent a lot of time in California, particularly LA or San Francisco, you've heard all the stories about how liberal it is and all that. But until you've been there and realized just how intensely liberal and Democrat California is, you might not think that they could possibly be the reason why Hulk got booed. Hulk and Trump are kind of joined at the hip now in the eyes of many, at least publicly, given Hulk's involvement in, and of course, you're going to have some backlash in California. You can't be shocked. You can't be surprised. Your thoughts on Eric's comments on 83 Weeks?
Eric Bischoff, you need to go fuck yourself. And I liked you.
Yeah.
And I like you.
We defended you on this program.
We have defended you to no end, Eric Bischoff. And I'm going to continue to keep calling your name Eric Bischoff because Eric Bischoff, we have called you, we have praised you to the high heavens. A lot of things that you said, especially going towards AEW and Tony Khan. But Eric Bischoff, God, you're a fucking moron. The fact that you are so fucking narrow-minded to think that nobody fucking remembers the fact that this racist piece of shit actually started saying racist shit and never fucking apologized for it. Somehow you think we are okay. Now, granted, maybe there are a lot of people that were there who don't like fucking Trump, who don't like fucking Hogan because he's fucking associated with it. Okay, well, if that's the fucking case, then why did we not boo The Undertaker? Why did we not boo 80% of the fucking the 80% of the fucking roster is probably Republican?
We know for a goddamn fact that Randy fucking Orton is a Trump supporter.
But we don't boo Randy Orton.
But we don't boo Randy Orton.
Anytime he comes out, he gets one of the greatest fucking crowd reactions. You know, racial remarks aside, let's look at Hulk Hogan's past for a moment, if we may, gentlemen. This is a guy that continuously refused to put over people, refused to put over Shawn Michaels in 2005, refused to make Randy Orton look good. The guy who, when he returned to WWE in 2002, demanded that Vince put in one last WWE championship reign in his contract.
He wanted to beat Brock Lesnar for the title.
Vince said,
No. No. But also with the Undertaker, to go to your point, I'm going to say this right now. First of all, the Undertaker, number one, is not a racist, and number two, who's one of the Undertaker's best friends, and he's one of the most. And we say this, and we look at the history when it comes to Black History Month, and one of the greatest African American performers ever in characters. Undertaker's best friend is the Godfather. I mean, like, hello, and most of the people that are in the PS.
That again, back to something I was going to point out too. It's like you look at the Undertaker, who is the complete opposite of Hulk Hogan, the very opposite of fucking Hulk Hogan. Some of his best friends are Booker T, fucking the Godfather. But the fact is that even Maven, who is black, also, again, he doesn't go out there and doesn't say racist shit. Yes, he is a Trump supporter, but guess what? Hey, cool, fine, dandy. He also isn't a piece of shit like Hulk Hogan. We know the fucking history of the things that Hulk Hogan has done in his fucking career. Let's again back to something that DC just said. We talk about him not wanting to put over Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels went out there and fucking literally oversold every fucking thing that Hogan did.
It was iconic.
I know, right? Iconic. Okay, so but that's still not the point. Who cares? 80% of this roster, you could play the clip by Mini Portable. You can. The fact is that oh God, I am fucking flustering on my dad. DC, go. I'm mad.
Well, no, we're gonna play the rant that you sent me from that, and we'll get to Mini Portable, and of course we're gonna play Brett because Brett is shorter, so we'll do Brett first because Bret Hart was asked about Hulk Hogan.
I will say, if I may say this before, I think from now on we look at Eric Bischoff the way that Bret Hart talks about Bill Goldberg, because we know Bret Hart doesn't like Bill Goldberg. Well, we don't like Eric Bischoff, and we're going to refer to Eric Bischoff as Eric Bischoff.
Jesus. All right. So here's Bret Hart not talking about Bill Goldberg, but talking about Hulk Hogan.
Do I like Hulk Hogan? No, I don't. I think he's a phony piece of shit.
In short,
I'm waiting for the next question.
I'm waiting for the next question.
All right, so here was the rant from Backup Hangman on his Raw review from Ibu. He said directly with his own words, "I am a racist," and then we'll get to Mini Portable.
Taker's MAGA as fuck. Gets cheered everywhere he goes. Hogan doesn't. So what's the difference? The difference is Taker's like, I like that guy Trump. Hogan goes, I like Trump. Also, I hate black people and they should die. And I am racist.
also, you know, I don't think I did anything wrong by saying the N-word. People shouldn't have been recording me.
Yes. If Undertaker got leaked right now for a clip where he literally is dropping the N-word and says, and I quote, I am a racist, which is a thing he said. People forget about what Hogan said. He said with his own words directly, I am racist. He said it. That was his word on record. And guess what, Rob? I'm going to remind everybody, he did not apologize publicly or privately. No apologies for this.
No, he didn't. Remember, he went to Extreme Rules and he apologized to the locker room. But he didn't say I'm sorry. No, Titus O'Neil got mad because he didn't say I'm sorry that I said it. He's like, oh man, you got to watch out for people recording y'all, man.
Yes. He went to the boys. He had an opportunity to save face on some level, and he went on a speech about being careful saying certain things around certain people. He didn't say, I'm sorry for being deeply and embarrassingly racist. He said, yo, man, y'all got to be careful, man. You can't be talking about niggers around certain people. What the
fuck? Do I dare even mention his drunken buffoonery in the bar about wanting to body slam Kamala Harris? Like, I mean, there's so many things out there with Hogan. And I mean, we'll get to Mini Portable next because Mini Portable really said it best when it came to what we got to see with the whole thing with Hulk Hogan. And I will say this about this. We will also play the clip of the one and only shout out to Wheezy Blonde, because Wheezy is another one that really goes into it. And we will play the Busted Open as well. So let's get to Mini Portable as I bring her up on the screen. If you all are not checking her out on YouTube, one of the greatest reactors, if you will. So here's Mini Portable's comments about that.
And you know what? We'll put the link below because so you could watch this whole 8-minute video because it's really fucking good.
Oh, hell yeah, because she nailed all these points. And I think the best was, to add to Paul's point before we play it, there was somebody in her comments section on Instagram where she was just like, oh, you must be too young and don't understand the impact that this man has had on professional wrestling. And she's like, I'm 32, motherfucker. Like, I can have an opinion about this. She's a year younger than me. Like, we can have an opinion about this. Anyway, I digress. Let's play Mini.
You know who Hulk Hogan is. So I immediately just assume that everybody knows about his racist comments that he was caught saying against black people because his daughter was apparently dating black guys, and he said, well, if you're gonna date one, then you should date a rich one, and he used the N-word with a hard R. He also admitted that he was racist. After my reaction was posted, a lot of the comment section was very confused as to why I felt this vitriol, why I disrespected this WWE legend. I did go on X, and a lot of people were asking, why does everybody hate Hulk Hogan? And a lot of people responded with, oh, it's because he voted Trump. And then others responded with, oh, it's because it's the popular thing to do. Which is why I'm making this video today, because if it had anything to do about politics, which believe me, I'm sure that the boos were even more amplified because of his political beliefs, but that's not the reason we booed Hulk Hogan. That's not the reason we've been booing Hulk Hogan for several years now. If we were really booing him because he voted for Trump or because he's in a party that isn't as popular here in California, then that means we would be booing close to damn near 80% of the roster. Hell, we would be booing Triple H. We would be booing Stephanie McMahon.
Bingo! Bingo!
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Now let's get to that other girl, Wheezy Blonde, and then we'll play the busted open one before we move on to, we mentioned Brian earlier, but we will get into Dave. Oh, Dave.
Fuck him.
I know we're going to get into it in AEW, but here is that girl. We love you, Wheezy, too, as well. Shout out to Wheezy Blonde. We love Wheezy.
Am I the only one who feels disappointed about the Raw debut? Don't get me wrong, it was good and felt like the normal episodes of Raw, but it didn't reach the expectations that we thought. Do you feel the same? No, I don't feel the same. I think it was pretty on par. It felt important. It definitely had a different production, a different feel than the rest of the Raws. And I think it's smart to not make it so above and beyond what regular Monday Night Raws are, because Monday Night Raw is a great program. They've been doing a wonderful job with what they've been given the last however many months. Like, it's a good program. You don't really need to make it additionally crazy or anything like that. Because then what I think would happen is you have that high expectation set for the debut. And then what will happen next week is that everyone will be like, oh, this is falling flat. This isn't as good as last week. I know how the minds of the IWC works. So I think it was a good call.
Again, accurate as all
Spot
hell.
on. Spot fucking on. Leave it to Wheezy to actually make sense about all this, because there were so many people who were talking shit. Back to the same thing that I had said before. You had so many people that were like, oh my God, it was only like 4 matches, and oh my God, it wasn't important. Back to fucking Brian Alvarez, who decided, oh, guess what? I'm just gonna fucking stick my foot in my mouth and fucking just shove it as far down as my throat as I fucking could. Don't get me started again, because then I'll start ranting again.
Well, we had, and I
piece
said,
of shit.
First of all,
Yeah.
And one of our people, and shout out to Robert Davis. We love you, Robert. But a lot of people in RWT were just like, oh, they're 4 matches. And I know Robert was one. And I mean, he understood it too. But a lot of people like, oh, there's only 4 matches in 3 hours. Is this what Raw is going to be every week? It's a spectacle. You're not going to, this is not going to be every week where it feels like WrestleMania. It's an introduction to them on Netflix. And if you're new to the WWE product, because they outdid Squid Games, they were #1 on Netflix. It's a big deal. If you're new to the product, here's what you're going to get. Now we're going to get back to the norm next week. We got Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser. We got Penta and Chad Gable. We got Damian Priest and Finn Balor in the street fight. We have everything. We finished some stories this week. We're going to continue more stories next week. It's a simple formula that people just don't understand. And I will say this right now. This is one of the reasons of why the driving force, while WWE is kicking AEW's ass, and we'll get to AEW in a second, but this is the one integral parts.
I'll pay you!
I'll pay you! I love you! It's one of those things where it's just like spot on. And speaking of spot on, we're going to get to your boy, Dave LaGreca and Bully Ray, because Paul loves
Dave.
Dave LaGreca Bully, right here we go.
I think last night was bigger than any WrestleMania. And I even include the first WrestleMania when I say that. This was on another level because I don't think that the WWE or any pro wrestling show has ever had the reach that show last night had, now being on a platform like Netflix. To me, last night was the biggest show in the history of the WWE.
Do you think it was bigger than any WrestleMania?
Yes.
Who was in the main event?
CM Punk and Seth Rollins.
Who went over?
CM Punk.
Who's the last person we saw?
CM Punk.
What was CM Punk's biggest crux before he left?
Not being in the main event at WrestleMania.
But your opinion was last night was bigger than any WrestleMania.
Yes.
That's a hell of a moment for CM Punk last night. And I hope, and I think he does. I'd be willing to bet $1 on it that he knows just how big last night was and the fact that he was put in that spot because he earned that spot back.
Hell to the yeah.
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 Yeah. I mean, again, it was a great from where CM Punk was 10 years ago wanting to quit, now 11 years later to where we are now. It just shows the major integral difference, and especially how he was
where CM Punk was 2 years ago.
Especially that, yes, sir.
I'll pay you.
I'll pay you. I love you. Squeeze me. It's
Please
just
come to my company. I need people. I need stars.
And we don't, like I said, Tony Khan, if you would have just got your head out your ass and actually be a boss, he would still be there. He would still be there. But we have this great...
And you would also have Ring of Honor on the CW.
And we have this great incarnation of CM Punk. Again, y'all, last night was a stellar thing. But one other thing we have to mention before we get to AEW in the news and SmackDown, John Cena, as you were in the house as well, Mr. Palmer Alice, the reaction he got, oh my goodness, on this final farewell tour of 2025, baby. John Cena has announced that he is in the Royal Rumble, and whoo, I'm excited. We heard two potential plans for WrestleMania, Cody and John Cena for the Universal title, and we got Gunther and Logan Paul for... Gunther, Logan Paul, and Cena and Cody. How are y'all feeling about those two rumored matches?
I got a better idea.
Go ahead.
Plan C, and it has never been done before, and it would be fucking huge if they did it.
Yep.
That's what she said. Hear me out. Okay. John Cena versus Oba Femi for the NXT World Title at WrestleMania in the main event.
All right. I mean,
God damn.
Cena Sr. actually just did an interview. He said he'd rather see Cena and Gunther, and I mean, I think a lot of people could attest to that too. Instead of Logan Paul.
I think if you look at the trajectory of where everything is going, I think Gunther loses his title before WrestleMania, because I don't want to see him versus fucking Goldberg for a damn title. Please, God, no. Please, God. But this is not Vince McMahon, so that much is true. If they're gonna have a match, I'd much rather it be just a straightforward match. At 57 years old is how old freaking Goldberg is.
He's in his mid-50s, yes.
Yeah, 57. 50. I believe he said he was 57. But if you look at it, it's just the fact is that I would much rather it not have a title involved with it. Now, who wins the title? I'm pretty much on the guess that it'd probably be CM Punk. Now, here's why. Imagine if you get the World Heavyweight Championship and your main event is CM Punk versus John Cena.
Right.
Either night 1 or night 2. Now, I don't see Roman Reigns involved in any title match. I just don't.
No.
Other than hold on, we can get there in one aspect, and I really have to think about this. I think The Rock costs him his opportunity, and we may actually get that Rock versus Roman match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I like that.
I just kind of see it going that way.
I mean, if you do Roman Punk, Roman Rock, That's the thing with how they're booking. You don't know because there's going to be a lot of twists and turns, but that's what makes the current WWE product and wrestling really exciting. And I mean, we'll talk about SmackDown because Roman Reigns is also in the Royal Rumble as well. So that's another interesting coup. And I'm going to say this right now. Please keep giving Jacob Fatu a freaking microphone because that he can talk. Him and Tama as a team take it, with the interaction with Paul Heyman, the match with Cody and Jimmy, and Cody and Kevin brawling on the outside.
Can we please acknowledge the great segment? You best think about, or he basically said, you best think about your life real quick. And then getting bum rushed by L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
I wasn't using his inside voice, so I threw him outside.
Yeah.
I gotta go title to win. Yeah.
Like, I really like this SmackDown, y'all. Like, the Motor City Machine Guns and A-Town Down Under, Los Garza against Pretty Deadly. Like, everything on SmackDown hit. From Nia Jax calling Tiffany Stratton an ungrateful piece of shit. Shout out to Nia. Paul Morales, your girl Nia, calling her an ungrateful.
Hey, mine too.
Man, don't be trying to hit up on my girl, man.
We are gonna have a three-way, not like that. A triple threat for the love of Nia. We love you, Nia. We really do. Like some of her best
man.
Stuff.
No, it's gonna be a fatal four-way because then we gotta bring the doctor in here. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my goodness! With
No. Paul, we'll take care of him.
Okay. Yeah, we'll take care of the doc. We'll take care of Mr. Amir.
Shout out to
Black Bane Costello.
Here's what gets me though, and this is where this is one of the reasons that I kind of that I love wrestling. You have with the whole. Everyone thought, oh, they're gonna turn Tiffany face.
No.
Now it's looking like not only are they not doing it, that they're, are they turning Nia face? Because it kind of looks like they're going that route.
You have the Tiffany Stratton Bailey match next week. She's still a heel. She never really turned heel with Nia. It adds just another layer of people to challenge Tiffany. When Charlotte comes back, I'm sure we're going to see Tiffany and Charlotte. But it just sets.
I'm sure they're going to give it to Charlotte because,
No, because I think that in order for Tiffany to continue that upward trend, I think she has to beat a veteran like her. If she doesn't beat Bailey, and Bailey doesn't go over to Raw, which is what probably I think is going to happen, and you do end up bringing Charlotte back in order for Tiffany to actually cement herself as being, that upper echelon of champions, she needs that.
The reason that I'm saying that Charlotte's going to go back is going to go to SmackDown. What brand is Andrade on?
SmackDown.
He's not going to want to be away from her husband.
No. He's doing solid work as well. And like you mentioned, Tiffany Stratton. Like you got to give a shout out to Chelsea Green beating Mia Yim.
Say it right, Michael.
Chelsea Green. Like Piper Niven getting the revenge arc. Like I'm loving Chelsea as the Women's United States champion and Piper Niven dressing like the Secret Service. Like it works. Like
it works. Oh, by the way, NXT Championship match.
Come on over, fucking Femi. We know he wins. Yeet. But that's the thing. The three, I'm going to say this, folks, and people have been saying what they will about SmackDown going to 3 hours, but it gives more people time on the card. And at 3 hours flies by. It's just three good shows because it's produced well, and we got Triple H at the forefront. Like I said, we come on this show and we talk about wrestling. There's good and bad in everything in pro wrestling, but with WWE, it's hard to really, there's flaws, but there's not a lot that make us get to this level like AEW does.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. And speaking of not anymore, we'll go back to Mini Portable here because John Cena said this in the post before we get to the portion of the show. So here's
I'll pay you.
I love you. Give me a hug. Here's John Cena from the post show.
And day out, and I know how hard it is to go from the bottom to the middle of the menu to the semi-main event to get that spot. And what I didn't want to do in the last time we share some time with each other is walk in and demand it, because that's not fair to the current WWE locker room. That's not fair to the audience, and that feels bad. I just want to say, hey, LA, tonight was the last time I'm going to stand in LA and say thank you. We're going to go to Indianapolis. I'm going to have one more time on the canvas in Indy. WrestleMania is in Vegas. I got one more shot in Vegas. And I'm not saying shot at a championship. I'm saying like, man, we spent like 23 years together. There are fathers that bring their families. There are parents that bring their families. I met so many people that say, I grew up watching you as a kid. Well, this is our last time to get together and make some noise. And whatever comes of that, comes of that. But gosh, man, the power of the WWE audience is an awesome thing. And I know something like this has never been done before. And a lot of people have a lot of different perspectives. Mine is, I just want to get us together one more time to have a good time. So I'm going to be enthusiastic. I'm going to be energetic. I'm going to be pumped. You guys, like I said, you're going to get my best. I just don't know what my best at 48 looks like. I could tell you what my best at 27 looks like, even 35, hell, even 40. I'll do my best, but let's find out what that looks like first. Does that help at all?
That man is just ready to go out there, do his thing, and call it quits. Like John Cena, I'm here for the ride. I think this is going to be so good, like so good.
It's time.
It's time. He knows.
Mike, the second one. All I'm going to say is put the second one up. I sent you something. Put the second one up.
Okay.
Mike, to paraphrase Jade Cargill, Mike, put the shit up.
Okay, let me see what this is because I didn't even see it. Hold
on. Okay, so if we go back, he said he's going to do 35 dates this year. So that's 12 pay-per-views. That's 12 pay-per-views. That's, I guess, episodes of, well, he did one episode of Raw, so now we got 34 more chances. He said this was his last time in LA. I believe there's one more trip to LA that he may not be making at the end of the year. But I'm guessing what he wants to do is hit all the major cities. He's going to hit Chicago. He's going to hit New York. He's going to hit Miami. He's going to hit somewhere in Texas. Obviously, there's a Saturday night's main event on the 25th of this month, which is a week before Royal Rumble, which is, again, another place we're going to end up seeing him. I don't know if that portal is going to be open for him to go to, both sides of the aisle. So, for him to show up on SmackDown, for him to show. Okay. So aside from that, I think I want two things to happen in this run, in this final year. I want him to be a Grand Slam champion. I want him to get that Intercontinental Championship, which is something he has never won. Multiple-time United States champion, multiple-time world champion. He has been a tag team champion. But that one title that has eluded him, much like Sheamus, has been the Intercontinental title. Who I would love for him to beat, by the way, I would love for him to beat Sheamus. Because that would be an awesome fucking run back, too.
Well, also, Sheamus was the one who beat him at TLC 2009 for the WWE title, so now Cena beats him for a title.
Hear me out.
Exactly.
And I think, honestly, it would add an exciting thing to the Royal Rumble. It's been common assumption that you win the Rumble, you either get the WWE Championship or the World Heavyweight. What if Cena wins the Rumble and says, I'm invoking my main event right for the one title I have never had, the Intercontinental title, and the IC title main events WrestleMania.
It's something different, and it's very unique and out of the box.
No one would see it coming, and Mike, you saw it. I know you did.
So we're going to put the photo in because Daniel is a sick man. Ric Flair has been talking about appearing.
But you love me for it. You love me.
Flair's talking about appearing. There's talk of Ric Flair appearing at the Rumble. And Ric Flair, no, you do not have one more match in you. You stop it, Rick. Ric Flair would come out of retirement to face
Stop.
No.
In the words of my tia Rosa, stop your fucking madness.
If
I added the fucking part.
If Conrad and Andrade and Charlotte are seeing this, please talk to Rick
and say no.
And please do not let him do this. We know how bad the last one went.
Well, he almost died. Freaking one. Oh my God. No, just don't do it. Well, speaking of don't do it.
Why not?
To quote Emperor Palpatine, do it.
Do it. Well,
Michael, do it.
Do it. I will
Do
put
it.
that. I will
Do it.
I will put that in
Paul
there.
saw it. I know Paul saw it.
Of course I did.
Oh my God. Okay. So the other thing where people would don't do, we're gonna go to Instagram back over here, and then we'll get to the report because damn it, Chris Charlton and yourself on friggin' commentary was the most funniest shit that came from that New Japan show. So this is from excuse me. Let me get back to it. So this is from Mara Wrestling on Twitter. Bushiroad president Takaki Kidana on co-promoting Wrestle Dynasty with AEW. Maybe it would have been better to do it at a distance on January 4th. As for things to reflect on this time, I think we weren't able to create the feel of a joint event, nor of a rivalry, so it ended up being a bit half-hearted. That's something to reflect on. Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking what?
Because Tony didn't promote more on his end of these fucking shows. That's the problem, because he didn't promote it more on AEW. It's all about Tony and the just wrestling their matches, not even the whole thing with Wrestle Dynasty and all that. Tony, and the problem is, and I said this with friggin' God, when we had Mercedes Moné and Mina Shirakawa.
I'll pay you.
I'll pay you. I'll get to Mercedes in a minute. But the fact that Mercedes is doing the thing on Dynamite, she's like, I want the Rev Pro title too, and it's crickets because nobody knows what the fuck that is because they don't build to any of this shit. It's just a graphic here and there.
The sickos get it.
The sickos get it, but the casuals don't get it. And that is the problem. And now we'll go to Chris Charlton because we're going to get into New Japan, and I only saw a few matches, much like Paul did. But here's Chris Charlton. Oh, we'll get to Dave in a second. Wrong one. We'll get to freaking Chris Charlton. I'm getting mad like you with your ranting. So Chris Charlton, oh God, Dave Meltzer reported today that New Japan commentator Chris Charlton was taking an indefinite hiatus. The reason for that was due to his comments about AEW and Tony Khan at Wrestle Dynasty. Charlton called Tony Khan a money mark and criticized AEW signing Okada, Will Ospreay, and Switchblade Jay White and their use since. Fightful Select reports Charlton was actually suspended for 2 months. There were people on both sides backstage praising him, while others thought the comments were out of line. NJPW's claim is that AEW and Tony Khan do not have input on the suspension. However, they heard that AEW was not happy about the comments. Go ahead.
Bullshit.
Oh, yeah. Tony got butthurt is the pretty much the thing of that. Tony got butthurt.
I'm just going to say, was he wrong?
No, not at all.
Nope.
No.
What has Okada? I mean, Okada's been, he's got a title that the casual fan does not care about.
No, not at all.
If you wanted to elevate a title in AEW, give him the TNT title.
Right.
Now I could tell you why, because that would be the equivalent of the Intercontinental title in New Japan.
Right.
Because it's a mid-card title, but he still held it with prestige. And he should already be contending for the world title in AEW.
And not a third-tier title.
And not a third-tier title. Not even, and the third-tier title would be like the equivalent of what title in New Japan? Open weight?
Open
weight? That would be the equivalent of it. Because there's literally nothing on that literally so many fucking titles. Now everybody bitches and complains about what WWE does, but my God, you got so many fucking titles on this show. And it's like, okay, well, why are these champions not being shown on your program? Why are these titles not being defended? When was the last time the trios fucking titles were defended?
Probably on an episode of Collision, because tonight
probably on an episode of Collision, or probably not even
or
ever.
Maybe Rampage, because
yeah.
It was probably Dark Elevation for all we know. I mean, it was that long ago that that they won them, and I haven't seen them on fucking TV since.
Look at the TNT title. You had Daniel Garcia defend against Shibata tonight, and you're doing Jericho and Edge in that fucking thing, which Jericho and Edge like 15 years ago, cool. Now, no. You had friggin' the Moxley and the rest of the Romper Stomper crew friggin' kidnap the Rock and Roll Express and Ricky Moore. You ain't got the balls! And it's like, I don't want to see the Rock and Roll Express against the Death Riders. And they did a thing with Jericho on Ring of Honor. I don't want to see the Rock and Roll Express against the Learning Tree. Why the fuck are the Rock? And I get it, it's North Carolina. But I don't want to see the Rock and Roll Express wrestle. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, what the fuck are we doing?
I just can't cope with this bullshit.
Fucking Adam Copeland and his cope. Fuck that bullshit.
Look, the whole fucking all of AEW just seems everything that Tony Khan seems to do just seems to be this clusterfuck of fuckery for the sake of Vince McMahon. That is Vince McMahon-esque.
You ranted on Brian Alvarez. I got to rant on something else now. So
go for it. You know what? Michael, rant.
Thank you. No, but I have to counter your Brian.
Unleash the dragon.
I will. Oh, okay, I'll do it like Cisco. Let me see that thong. So I have to go off your point with Brian Alvarez because that was great, but I have to rant on this. So AEW's counter to John Cena's retirement tour. Jeff Jarrett signs his last wrestling contract at 57 years old. And he's in a thing with MJ. Who wants to see MJF versus Jeff Jarrett in 2025? What the fuck are we doing? This is not 2002 to 2006 TNA where he was the world's heavyweight champion and he kept putting it on himself for that 4-year time frame. And now you got Jeff Jarrett retiring and we're going to get MJF and Jeff Jarrett. And you don't even do – Kenny Omega cuts the promo talking about, I'm not about the revenge and all that. I just want to come back and wrestle. Motherfucker, the Young Bucks took you out in the parking lot. And Okada, they made a cake about your friggin' diverticulitis. But no, what are we doing? We're going back to an angle from a year and a half ago when you wrestled Will Ospreay and lost to him because he was a part of the Don Callis family. And now you're wrestling Brian Cage next week. And now they're doing the old Vince McMahon booking trope of, can they coexist? Because they're setting up in Australia Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay against Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita, and you're going back to the story of the fact that Kenny Omega never beat Konosuke Takeshita. And if they do what I think they're going to do, Tony Khan's out of his fucking mind. If they have Kenny Omega beat Takeshita for the international title, and then when you get to All in Texas, it's a fucking unification match with Kenny Omega and Okada. What the fuck? Oh, God. You could have had something with Kenny Omega going after the Bucks, but we didn't do it. We just saw the Bucks and them at Wrestle friggin' Dynasty. The Young Bucks won the IWG Tag Team titles. Kenny Omega had a great match. It's fantastic. If you've not seen the match with Gabe Kidd, it was excellent. I will say this about Wrestle Dynasty. Zack Sabre Jr. Ricochet was fine. Zack Sabre Jr. and Shota Umino was kind of boring for 43 minutes, and that's not a Wrestle Kingdom main event to me. I'm sorry. But fuck, like you went nowhere with this, and fucking Kenny Omega doesn't even get the revenge on the Young Bucks. Like, and you have Powerhouse Hobbs, who just lost at Takeshita. What makes you think he's going to win the world title from John Moxley next week? Oh, but I'm coming back for you, Mox, because you hurt me 8 months ago. They're going off a story from 8 months ago where he wrestled John Moxley for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship that was a fucking throwaway. And he's going back and recycling and regurgitating bullshit. And then I'll play the Wade Kelly clip. Go ahead, Dan.
This is the problem with Anthony Khan. And it's not so much him, it's the fans. It's the AEW bitch-ass marks. You all know who you are. You want to be a fan of it. You say, well, when WWE just went back. Enough with the whatabouts, it's bullshit.
Yep.
No. The fact is, people in AEW, the fans, they don't want to hold Tony accountable.
Not at all. They don't. And I mean, this show is just the drizzling fucking shits. Like, and I hate to say it like that. And again, this is not e-droning or whatever. It's called not only frustration with the product, but I can also admit and be a realist here. From where we were in 2019 with the excitement of another company coming up to where we are in 2025, this product is fucking cold. Like, we're going to have literally main eventing their show, John Moxley and Cope for the AEW World's Heavyweight Championship. Edge versus Dean Ambrose in a match in 2025 for the AEW World Championship. And it's like, whatever. The Death Rider storyline is whatever. Friggin' Mariah May, they're doing a women's gauntlet, and they eliminated Toni Storm because they're doing the rookie gimmick because she got pinned in that triple threat match, and now Chris Statlander's number one. Who the fuck you going to have against Mariah May in Australia? for this women's title. Mercedes Moné, don't get me started, because that fucking title, oh my gosh, she beat Statlander. And the fact that we're not doing a third match where she finally beats Mercedes, and but we're not doing that. We're just gonna have a fucking casino gauntlet for the women's world title. It's just it's all over the place. He doesn't know what he's doing, and this is why they're in the position that they are. And this is a perfect example that I'm going to play to you guys right now. This is from the Meltzer Says What Twitter account. So Tony Khan dropped the
Which, as an aside, folks, if you are not following that account, you need to.
You should, because it's hilarious. Meltzer Said What on Twitter. Wrote, wait. Tony Khan dropped the whole Elite Takeover storyline because he didn't want, even in a fake storyline, for fans to think anybody but him was booking the matches in AEW. So this is from Wade Keller and the PW Torch and what he does on his YouTube channel. And I know this is a name not a lot of people are familiar with or you haven't heard in a while. This is Wade Keller from the PW Torch and his show talking about Tony Khan.
So, Chris, you talked about it earlier, but talk about where the Moxley character is in that whole act. We have, FTR and Copeland. Now Copeland showing up to defend AEW. Are they, we had the whole thing with Tony Khan and the NFL draft and the neck brace and the Bucks thing just get dropped. And multiple sources told me Tony didn't want even a storyline that suggested anyone was booking the show but him, which is just yikes. And a whole major storyline was dropped because he didn't want people thinking, even in storyline, other people were booking matches. And now we have this, in the first place. I know. And it's okay if there's a story that other people are booking matches. So like Brian Bayless in the chat says, Death Riders are just another generic heel of the stable.
I mean, where's the lie?
I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
Death Riders are just generic bloodline.
They are. And friggin' that whole thing with the friggin' Tony Khan thing, like you could have had some there, but they dropped it because Tony Khan didn't. I mean, you saw it with Christopher Daniels at the buffer. Tony Khan was on the friggin' screen still booking. It's like he couldn't take himself off TV. Well, nobody else can't book this but me. What are you talking about?
No, you look at it like this. It's the reason why he didn't want to do it is because he didn't want anybody else to know that he didn't want that kayfabe thing where somebody else was booking matches in kayfabe. So the fact that you didn't want to do this, and why is it even a thing? Why is it even, how much of a fucking mark of yourself are you that you didn't want people to know that you killed a storyline? You killed a good storyline that was going on for the sake of keeping you as the person who was doing the matches. When in reality, we already know who's booking the fucking matches. We see the trash that you fucking put out there, but yet somehow in the reality of kayfabe, you don't want it done.
And Tony,
make that fucking make sense. Make that fucking make sense to us.
I'm right there,
Tony, dear Tony Khan. Somehow we are going to have like an episode or a segment in these shows to where we say, "Dear Tony Khan."
Exactly.
And then it mind boggles me how fucking dumb this dude is, and then it mind boggles me that it makes me lose brain cells at this guy is a fucking not a promoter, but an owner of a fucking company. He runs this company worse than his father, than he and his father run the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you look at it from like this.
And both are fucking shit shows.
They are. I look at it like this. Like you have stuff with the Death Riders, and now we know that Darby Allin is going to be out for a number of months so he can prepare for Mount Everest. So you're not going to have a payoff for this for like months now, where Darby being the one to finally dethrone John Moxley for the title. You got Malachi.
Mike, stop. I'm just gonna say it.
What?
If you people cannot see what's happening here, I don't know what to tell you.
What?
Cope is gonna beat Mox. Christian is gonna beat Cope. Cope is gonna beat Christian.
He's still going there.
And Mox is gonna beat.
And Darby Allin is gonna beat everybody to be the new World Heavyweight champion in AEW.
Assuming he survives Mount Everest.
I'm trying to be optimistic.
That's what I'm thinking too, but he'll survive it. He'll probably get about halfway up and be like, "Yeah, no, this ain't for me."
I mean, I'm optimistic, but Daniel has mentioned this many a times, whether it be here or the TSK chat. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's kind of like a foregone conclusion, unfortunately. And the other thing is Malachi Black. They're setting up Buddy Matthews and Brody King as a team with Julie Hart. Malachi Black is like, I'm out. Yeah, I'm out. I mean, him back in WWE, I'm for it. Like
I think
I am. I'm all for it.
Here's what I really would not be surprised if they do.
Go ahead.
It's looking like Finn's going to be out of Judgment Day.
Right.
Which, you know what, put him back on his own. And I think what you do, you have, and honestly, I think Triple H is probably going to do this. Bring in Malachi Black as a new leader of Judgment Day.
That'd be cool.
And turn Judgment Day into like the WWE's version of the House of Black.
That is a nice iteration, nice revamp for the Judgment Day. I like that.
Okay,
kind of get it more back to its original.
Carlito. Then what do you do with Carlito?
Oh, poor Carlito.
WWE has come to terms with the release of Carlito.
Effective
immediately.
No, I you know what? I have to look at it from the aspect of like you see how the Judgment Day is. And I would love for him and Finn to feud.
That'd be cool.
Over the Judgment Day. You know, and it's like, I don't want this whole custody of fucking Dom bullshit because I don't want that. But I mean, I want, but I would love to see the House of Black or the Judgment Day version of the House of Black, or
other way around.
Yeah, other way around, or the House of Black version of Judgment Day, or Judgment Day version of House of Black. Look, I just want to see Malachi Black be that leader of the Judgment Day, because it would be a complete 180 from where it was at now.
Yeah, I mean, with Malachi Black too, it's like you could have had something like, again, Tony wastes these talents that he's had in AEW. He comes in and dominates Cody. Like, he has a little bit of a build when he got released from WWE, and he was hot, and then they put the House of Black together, and the House of Black really haven't done anything. And I hate to say it like that because they had so much potential, but Tony doesn't know what to do with his people. He doesn't.
You know, it's funny, now that the rumors are out there that he is leaving AEW, I have seen AEW fans shit all over him. He was never all that good.
Shut up. Oh, God.
You mean to say, shut up.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Well, speaking of someone, as we get to our final two topics, and then the closeout, we'll do the shout out.
And you also need to put up that picture, Maggle.
I will put the photo in, you son of a bitch. I will say this: someone who needs...
I won't pay you.
Someone who needs to shut the fuck up, Mercedes Moné.
Oh, God.
So Mercedes Moné recently threw her Moné newsletter there and the Moné mag. So she isn't holding back when it comes to critics. She called out old guy podcasters who mocked her vision of elevating women's wrestling.
Yeah, DC, old guys.
Old guy podcasters who mocked her
vision.
You're
older than me, Paul.
Fuck.
Her vision of elevating.
Why you gotta bring up old shit?
Oh, shit. After her WWE exit.
Hey, you brought yourself up.
Fuck.
Oh.
So...
You know what? It's that latchkey kid bullshit. That's why this is the Gen X shit. That's why. Don't worry. I got it.
So
y'all millennial ass kids.
Hey.
I don't claim that generation.
Oh, it's you fucking Gen Z mother.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. Michael, you want to start again?
You're fine. Mercedes Moné isn't holding back when it comes to critics, and her Moné mag newsletter, she called out old guy podcasters who mocked her vision of elevating women's wrestling after her WWE exit, and she said, and I quote, "When I left WWE, the goal was to elevate women's wrestling and create more global opportunities. Many of the old guy podcasters mocked me for that," Moné wrote. She credited Tony Khan for supporting her mission, saying, "Shout out to Tony Khan for getting that, supporting so many other promotions, and especially allowing me to do so. Despite criticism from figures like Eric Bischoff, Moné has remained focused on her goal of advancing women's wrestling worldwide." What? What? Like, who the fuck? Who have you elevated? What are you? Okay, I don't want to hear, because they put this out there, more subscribers to Rev Pro because she won the title against Mina Shirakawa at Wrestle Dynasty. Shut the fuck up. No. No. Oh God, her AEW run has been absolute dreck. It has been dreck. The only good thing is Stephanie Vaquer came out of that, and look at what she's doing now in NXT. She has had dreck. The Statlander matches, and I will say I enjoyed them both. I enjoyed Willow, but other than that, she has had a dreck of a run. Go ahead, Daniel. What are your thoughts on her elevating? You old guy podcasters? What?
The problem is, like, people don't understand the hate for it. She's too damn high on herself.
On that high horse, bro.
Is she good? Yeah, she's good. But top 10? No.
Why do you think when Triple H said, no, I'm not paying you like Becky and Charlotte? No, I'm not going to give you that money. Tony Khan, I'll pay you. Was fine with it. But yeah, her run has just sucked. For me, it doesn't anything. I mean, I know she has the Stardom. She has the strong title in New Japan. She's worked Stardom. She's worked New Japan. She's done this. She's done that. She's had some good matches. But again, whatever. I'm very much whatever with this run. And Paul, would you like to add? What are your thoughts on her and the old guy podcasters and her elevating women's wrestling? Your thoughts, Paul Morales?
Remember, I'm the old guy here, so I guess I might as well just say what I'm going to say because I'm going to reiterate something I said last week or the week before. Don't get me wrong. It was probably one of those. You are the same fucking character.
Yep.
You are the exact same character you were in NXT. You are the exact same character you were on the main roster in WWE. You have changed not one fucking thing. You may have went from a baby face to a heel, back to a baby face, back to a heel, and doing whatever the fuck you're doing now. But you are still the same fucking character. Charlotte changed. Yes. Is she a bitch? Yes. I'm pretty sure she is a bitch. But see, here's the thing, is that Charlotte changed the way she was and the way she is. We already know the statement that she is. We already know everything about Charlotte. Much like Bailey. Bailey went from being the happy-go-lucky, floaty things, freaking happy people fucking floating, and then all of a sudden she turned heel. She turned into emo. And then all of a sudden she got Ding Dong Bailey. We got that girl who was still a heel and was still fucking awesome. And guess what? Now she's back to being Big Booty Bailey, where she is fucking awesome and killing it in WWE. Why is it that you cannot change your character? Why is it that you are still continuing doing the same bullshit over and over and over? Lather, rinse, repeat. That's all you fucking do.
And the stupid man.
It's not,
and it's tiring.
It is. Like, it's literally the same fucking bullshit. And and this is what I don't fucking understand about AEW marks. And Mike, you and I have talked about it. They give Cody shit for basically doing the carbon copy of his AEW shtick.
Yeah.
But yet they give Cope a pass. They give Mercedes a pass. They give all these former WWE talent who have not changed their gimmick, not one iota.
No, not at all.
Now, I will say this. FTR, totally different. I give them credit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jericho, I may not like him. Maybe time for Jericho to hang it up and to start winding it down. But Jericho has changed up his character. It's something that he's probably, honestly, one of the greatest of all time in reinventing himself.
Oh, great. But
may not always work, but he does it.
He does.
And literally with Mercedes, it's the same gimmick, same, entrance. Literally, her moves, that is the same. Doing the jibing, that is literally the same. It's not hard to reinvent yourself. Edge, I'm not calling go. Fuck that, is doing the same shtick, the same entrance that he has been doing for the past 25 fucking years.
Yep.
Tell Magnus to fucking redo your theme. At least change it up. Change it up. Hell, do a remix. Do something a little bit more darker.
I'm gonna say this. If we get Edge and Beth Copeland against Marina Shafir and John Moxley, I'm done.
We will. You know why? You know why I say that, Maggle?
What?
You put it out in the universe.
That's true. And also, I'm going to say this about the universe. Tony Khan, you had something with Adam Hangman Page. He burned Swerve's house down. You were putting him in the world title. He was being a badass heel. And now he's in a feud with Christopher Daniels because he was, I'm your friend. Why you hitting me? Why you yelling at me? And now we have Adam Page and Christopher Daniels in a Texas death match next week on Collision. Why? Why? Oh, God.
Hey, Denise is here for it.
Denise,
she's ready for it.
She's ready.
I would much rather snowblow my driveway in 2 feet of snow than watch that bullshit.
Speaking of
I'm ready for it. Last Texas death match I saw was Hangman versus Swerve Strickland. And by the way, last thing was before we get to the next thing, Sumisaki is actually retiring. And I'd love to fucking see her go to WWE, at least to have one run.
That would be cool. I love it. Sumi Sakai. Freaking first of all.
Sumi Sakai, that was her last. I couldn't remember. Fucking sorry, my bad.
All good. First of all, if you've not seen Sumi Sakai against Kelly Klein and the likes of anybody in Stardom, the Women of Honor division, Ring of Honor, you're in for a treat because her
at least the old ROH.
The old ROH.
The old ROH.
Yeah, not the one that Tony Montana.
Yeah, before that idiot got it.
Yeah. And speaking of idiots, Dave Meltzer.
Her and Mandy Leon actually had a couple of good matches too.
I have not heard that name in a while. I love Mandy Leon. The Allure with her and Angela. Oh my God. Fuck yeah, dude. So
she had a baby. She actually had a baby. So God bless that woman for procreating and making more beautiful people in this world.
Speaking of people,
you guys remember a name? Former Ring of Honor World Champion Takeshi Morishima.
Oh yeah, Brian Daniels attached to retina. I remember.
Great wrestler.
Yeah, one of the absolute best. And speaking of wrestlers who get critiqued by assholes, and I'm going to put this into the forefront because we said people who shouldn't procreate. Dave Meltzer. Dave Meltzer and what he had to say. Dave Meltzer literally got owned, and this is why I'm happy about this. So the president of CW has responded to Meltzer, and Meltzer wrote, obviously, the KTLA schedule for TV is up in the air with the fires, so the make good for tonight on airing NXT is up in the air. Bradley Schwartz commented, who is the president of the CW, wrote, we'll repeat the NXT nationally on CW Saturday night. Shut the fuck up, Dave. Exactly. Sit your ass down, Dave Meltzer. Fuck you.
Then you can add that to the list of viewership. So.
With the 16.
Oh, I had it on, so I was watching it. So
I will laugh if a rerun of NXT
beats Collision. Probably will.
You lost to something that had already aired.
Yeah, exactly. 4 days earlier, you lost.
I will laugh my ass off if they beat them tonight. I will so laugh. But folks, that is the Weekend Wrestling, full of laughs, full of rants, and what we do on this fine program. So to close it out, we started off with Odyssey Jones. We are going to close this program with a shout out and a love for the one and only Miss Denise Salcedo, because this man over here, Paul Morales, oh my goodness. First of all, I love this, Paul, that you sent this. So here we go. Denise, we're closing out with you. We love you, Denise. We really do. We love you, Denise. So here we go.
We got Paul Morales in the building. I know you were at the show last night. I was wondering about you to see. I actually did think about you when Rhea Ripley came out too, which you're mentioning right now. He says it was an emotional night for my wife and I when Rhea won, holding our daughter Ali's picture. We cried and cheered loudly. Then Taker came out after Rhea won was epic. I was thinking about you when Rhea came out. I was wondering because I didn't know where you were sitting, and I was thinking like, you know what? Like somewhere in this building right now, Paul is having a special moment. So I just wanted you to know that I thought about you during that, but I'm so happy that you got to experience that and have that kind of an emotional moment, because I think sometimes, you know, we connect things to our lives and people sort of forget what things might mean to somebody. And, you know, you shared your story with me and with a lot of the DWM people here about, you know, your daughter and her being a Rhea Ripley fan. And so I in the midst of all of this, you know, everything that you've gone through, the fact that you got to experience that nice little moment, I'm really happy that you guys got to experience that. So hopefully you guys had a good night. Seriously, I hope you guys had a good time and enjoyed the show and just had a good time. Thank you, Paul.
We love you, Denise.
We love you, Denise.
That was awesome.
A shout out to Denise, and like I told you guys before we started tonight, she was actually doing a watch along with Collision. But the reason why she did the watch along was every super chat that she had gotten was a donation to all the funds that are available out here in California through all the wildfires and everything that we're dealing with. So everything that she raised, which was a little over $1,400. Shout out to her for doing all that. For you know, she's a Southern California girl. She's about 17 miles away from the Eaton fire. So, and I told her, I said I was 19 away from everything that's going on over in Brentwood and in Encino. So shout out to her for raising the money. Shout out to everybody from the DWO that actually donated to her and donated to help raise the money for the funds. Just, you know, thank you to everybody, and thank you for everybody for their prayers. Even you too. Thank you for checking up on me. Believe me, we're okay. We're just having to inhale all this horrible fucking smoke. So, and it isn't Willie. It isn't with Willie, and it isn't with Snoop. So,
not even Tommy and Cheech.
No.
Yeah, not even Cheech and Chong. You know, and that's not even them.
Not
Mike,
even Travis Scott. Yeah.
Mike, maybe we
or
can,
Travis Scott.
For our viewers, maybe we can put some links down below, so if people want to donate, they can do so.
The American Red Cross. That's one of the most important ones right now that are just helping everybody out. And I'll send you guys some links, and you guys can throw them down below. It was just beautiful that she did that, and then not only that, but doing what she did over here too. She's just good people, and I love you, Denise. Seriously, I truly love you. Don't tell my wife.
With such heartwarming messages and love to everybody in prayers in California. Links will be in the description for great causes and great funds, as well as Mini Portable, as well as Denise Salcedo and everybody that we discussed in today's fight.
Yes, go follow her. She's trying to get up to 200,000 by the end of the year, subscribers. So please go subscribe.
Go subscribe.
Go subscribe. We will not be putting anything for Brian. First of all, fuck you. Brian.
Yeah.
Like literally.
Fuck you, Brian Alvarez. Fuck you and your piece of shit fucking your mouth organ for fucking just because you're putting your mouth on fucking Brian on fucking Meltzer's fucking dick and licking his asshole every fucking week. Sorry, my bad.
And Eric Bischoff. We're talking about Eric Bischoff.
You know what? I get where Eric is coming from.
Yeah,
I get where he's coming from, but still, dude, don't be so fucking narrow-minded, dude. People still remember the shit that he fucking did, and people just don't want him back. You could say, I'm pretty sure, yes, it was probably some people who didn't like Trump and don't like that he was supporting of him. But if we all hated everything, if that were the case, we would all boo the Undertaker. We would boo, and like Wheezy said, Wheezy and Minnie said, we would probably boo about 80% of the fucking of the roster. So that's not here nor there.
But what is here nor there is, and always the weekly review each and every week. We'll be back next week for more. We have more shows to talk about with Netflix. We have the fallout with AEW and the copenism and the cope mechanism and everything.
I can't cope with it.
I can't cope with that. No can do.
It's not copaesthetic.
It's not copaesthetic. So we'll be back next week for more.
Just say nope to cope.
Nope. We'll be here all
That
day.
one.
That was good.
That one.
That was good. That right there. That was good, Daniel. That was really good.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Maggle, show the people what they want to see.
Yes. So being said, Paul Morales, links where we can follow you on the socials. Go ahead, my dude.
Everybody will be down below. Of course, this is the name, the Dead Man of RWT. You can find me everywhere, and all my links will be down below. You can find me. Please, please, please go follow the RWT Facebook page, and tell everybody I sent you. And if not, then just tell them Michael sent you.
Right.
DC, your turn.
Your turn, bro.
Pundits coming back again. Work is, well, y'all know how much it sucks being an adult these days.
God damn it!
It is no fun. Gotta try and find time to record when I can. Gonna try to do something tomorrow, depending on what I got going. I have one day off a week, and I enjoyed that one day off.
All right.
So got a lot coming. I like me some wrestling games. WWE, they showed the first preview or the first teaser of sorts. I feel like I'm Danhausen saying of sorts.
The 2025 2K25.
They showed that first teaser with Roman, which I think was more of like a
January 25th. I
25th.
believe he said. Yeah, he said January 25th.
They're saying this is going to be like a breakout year. They're not saying what that means. But it's rumored that Roman's going to be on the cover, which I think makes sense. And, check us out, check Mike out, check Paul out, and acknowledge us.
Acknowledge us. And what you should do is subscribe to the YouTube channel, Mike Larkin 92, over 1,120 plus subscribers. Let's keep it going. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning into these shows. Weekly review, Uncaged is coming back for season 5. First episode will be Paul, Dan, and I talking about Muhammad Hassan, and then Dan and I will continue our season, but we have to have our main man Paul on for our debut of the next season, season 5.
Fuck the Hulk Hogan.
And fuck the Hulk Hogan. And check out Deep Into the Heart of Wrestling. Check out the Steve and Mike Show. Check out the Pop Culture History Podcast, LFC Podcast, and more. SteveandMikeShow.com, LFCFights.com, on the mic with Mike. Larkin_92. I'm Larkin MB on Instagram. SM Show 1 MCL92 on Twitter. Links will be in the description. We have a lot more coming. And we also have another wrestling roundtable coming up very soon as well. I believe we're going to record tomorrow or in the next few days, depending on everybody's schedules. Our second roundtable I wanted to do because it's the anniversary of the announcement of AEW. And we're going to be talking about some of our favorite moments and memories from AEW in 2019. So, yeah, it's going to be a great broad spectrum of the AEW first year. So, with that being said, for Paul Morales, for Daniel Crimmins, my name is Mike Larkin. Thank you for listening to another edition of the Weekly Review, and fuck the Hulk Hogan.
Fuck you, Dave.
And
fuck
Dave.
The Hulk
Hogan. Fuck them all.
And fuck the Hulk Hogan.
Fuck the Hulk Hogan.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow.
The past is gone. Now's the future.